My name's Chris Cleary, and when I was a little bit about me, and then I'll kind of jump off in a thing. So I was asked to come out here by Nico to talk about my recent experience with Cyber Command. I just left Cyber Command not too long ago, and I had to tell Nico, I said, well, I really can't talk about Cyber Command specifically, what I did or where I was or what I did while I was there, but I could maybe talk about the military planning process in the abstract. Use some examples, and one of the things, and that's why that quote on there is, plans are nothing, planning is everything. The military, we plan and execute operations, and that's sort of our backing. That's what we do. The community that we're trying to talk to, the community that now that cyber is the big buzzword and we're trying to figure out how to work through it, is this community to try and figure out how we start bringing the two together. And that sort of leads into the next slide. There's a lot of talk about cyber warfare. Cyber warfare right now is kind of being made up of the hacker community and the military. The military spin on it right now, and the way that we're trying to do business is the policies that have come out. We released a new cyber policy, and the 5 pillars of the things we're going to focus on is pretty much defensive in nature. And rightfully so. The military's job, first and foremost, is to defend the United States, and also execute sort of missions that we're directed to by our senior leadership. The hacker community brings a whole new perspective to that, because really, arguably, you guys were here first. There's some things that the military's done for a long, long time that we're really good at. This is a new domain, and we're trying to figure out how to operate in it. And it's kind of the bringing together of the peanut butter and the jelly to make something that we're going to coin cyber warfare in the beginning. And what I experienced in the last couple years is how the two communities may be talking past one another. The military, we're very rigid, we're very hierarchical, we do things very linearly. The hacker community is much more dynamic, much more free thinking, and it's trying to understand, and I think when we bring these two closer together, one of two things are going to happen. Either the hacker community, when they want to support the operations that we do, are going to have to figure out our planning process and then understand what they do and then bring it to us, or maybe we're going to realize that the way that you guys do business and how those things will be brought to bear to support our operations, maybe we have to, in the military, come up with a new planning process, a new way of thinking through a new language, a new way of stepping through it, so that you guys can come and leverage what we do. Sure. Right, just a second.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Don't leave. I need your mic.
Oh.
No, keep it. Good morning, everybody. How many people here are new to DEFCON? Raise your hands. Okay, for those of you who don't know, my name is Priest. For those of you who heard this, I apologize. I'm the designated asshole for DEFCON. I'm the mean man who's going to come find you when you're fucking up. Please don't fuck up. I really don't want to see you. We like it here. This is a nice venue. We love the guys where we were before, but like I said, this is a nice venue. I really don't want to be here Sunday saying, this is why we can't have nice things. That said, he's drinking light beer. That kind of scares me.
It was bought for me. I didn't buy that. Somebody brought it to me, by the way.
That's a good cover story.
Yeah.
Good cover story. What I'm here to tell you, number one, is, like I said, please don't fuck up. Number two, we are having something called the Blood Code Drive. How many people here know what the Network Ninjas are? Or the Ninja Party? Raise your hands. Okay, for those of you who don't know, one of the most awesome parties at DEFCON is the Ninja Party. Their leader has come down with a rare blood disease. We're having a blood drive / contest today from 12 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Doesn't matter what blood type you are. If you could, please donate a pint of blood. Please be smart about it. Don't drink before. Don't drink booze after. Rehydrate yourself. Don't go run a mile or something like that after you do it. But if you can do it, it would really not only help Barcode, but to help everybody else who needs blood. There's a picture floating around of Barcode. If you take a picture of yourself giving blood, there's a raffle going on. A couple of the prizes are, one is a skateboard signed by a lot of cool people. Two is we will take you on a behind-the-scenes tour of DEFCON. So we'll take you behind the green curtain, and you get to see the little man pulling the levers.
There's nothing back there.
And like I said, we would really appreciate your help. They do a lot for us. Barcode, I know him personally, he's a really cool guy, and would really help him out, and would really help a lot of other people. who need blood. So there's a picture of me floating around. I was the first guy to do it. Let's see if we can't make a good showing at the blood drive. So that's it, guys. Thanks. Sorry.
No worries. So I was just behind the green curtain a minute ago. There's really nothing back there, but I got some beer and some finger food and stuff like that. But so I wanted to kind of give a little bit about how I got here and what I sort of learned along the way. And what I mean by that is sort of the progression of becoming a military planner. And something to learn from that is we're all sort of products of our environment. I mean, everybody in this room came from some different background. They have different experiences in their life that got them either to this room or to what they do. And you know, being a planner is no different. So starting off, I started my career as a maintainer working on F-18s. Young kid working on Hornets. It was really cool. It was a really cool job playing around. But what I learned is just because you know how to fix something doesn't mean you know how to use it. From there, I actually got an opportunity to go to the Naval Academy, and I played rugby, and although I got my ass handed to me pretty bad academically at the Naval Academy, I did pretty good in rugby. And one of the things you learn sort of at the academies is that with enough pressure, a round peg will go into a square hole. So then I went to my first ship. I was a surface warfare officer, and on my first ship I was the anti-submarine and anti-surface warfare engagement officer, which means I either put torpedoes in the water or put harpoons in other ships. And when you got there as a planner or an executor, the lesson I took away from that was even though that you're important to the mission, you don't necessarily know what the guy to the left and the guy to the right are doing, but you do know that if they don't do their jobs, you can't do yours. From there I went to, I was the officer in charge of a landing craft detachment, worked with the Marines quite a bit, which is an experience all in itself. And I always said that landing craft that a lot of people didn't even know we still have, because it was sort of a World War II era kind of thing. The good thing there was it was sort of like I always tell everybody it was an 18-month episode of McHale's Navy. It was the most fun I ever had. It was kind of like we were like pirates. We got to cruise around and just do goofy stuff with very little adult supervision. But working with the Marines, I found very, very painfully that when they say things are going to happen, it happens, and they happen to the minute. So the whole idea of being able to, given a set of orders and execute on a timeline is critically important to them, because if you don't, people die. Landing craft in particular, and the whole idea is you hit a beach as rounds are coming down, and you have to be there to the minute the rounds stop landing so the Marines have a safe environment to run onto the beach. From there, I actually lateral transferred into the intelligence community. I went to the Office of Naval Intelligence for my first tour, and the idea was they were trying to, this is what started my technical background. They were trying to take intelligence officers, make us a little more cyber savvy, and then push us out into the environment. So when I showed up and I learned I was going to be doing this job sort of cold, the network, the guy I was going to be working for in the IT division said, hey, you know, the Office of Naval Intelligence is a brand new building. We have the largest ATM network in the country. And I walked in and I said, I only saw the one ATM in the lobby when I came in here. And the guy literally turned and looked at me and he rolled his eyes and he was like, holy crap, are you kidding me? This is the guy who's going to be defending our networks. So they pumped just dollar into, I mean, I went to like every SANS class there was, and these hacker courses, it just went completely over my head. But the idea was to learn how to speak the language, not necessarily be a keyboard operator, but just understand the environment. And as an officer, be able to take what you guys are doing, the IT professionals are doing, to sort of translate it to leadership, be the intermediary there. From there, because the market was so good, I ended up jumping out. I was in DC at the time and went to the private sector. I went to go work for Sparta, and I learned that being a defense contractor is a much, much different world than being a military officer or in the government for that matter. Their priorities are different. You know, at the end of the day, they're in it to make money, and that's kind of the game you got to play. This was around the 06 time frame came around, and the surge was getting to happen, and as I was still a reservist, I mobilized, and I went to the Joint Special Operations Command, and everybody knows what those guys do now. Courtesy of, you know, us putting bin Laden